Today, we are diving into a topic that is just so incredibly important, but it's one we rarely discuss with the seriousness it really deserves. We're talking about how to navigate life's second great mission. You know, there's this specific silent moment that happens, often in the early morning or in the quiet of a late afternoon. An active, healthy person, someone who's built a life, raised a family, and hit that finish line we call retirement, looks around their life and asks a question that feels almost taboo. Why am I still here? Now, this isn't necessarily a cry for help or a sign of sadness. It's really a question of function, of purpose. It's this quiet, hollow feeling of being redundant, and it can be deeply unsettling. So if you've ever felt this, I really want you to hear this loud and clear. This is not a personal failure, and it's not automatically depression. It's actually a recognized neurological event, something we call the meaning void phenomenon. See, your brain is a purpose-seeking machine. After the primary drivers of your life, building a career, raising your kids, are complete, it doesn't just shut down. It starts sending signals that it's ready for its next, and maybe its most important mission. You are not done. You're simply between missions. So in this explainer, here's our game plan. We're going to start with that quiet morning question and really dig into the science behind your brain's next mission. Then we're going to introduce a really powerful new identity, the strategic elder. We'll walk through a super practical toolkit called the Generative Anchor Protocol, reframe your whole perspective by recognizing you as a master of survival, and finally, empower you to define your mission. All right, let's get right into the why behind this feeling, because, understanding the mechanics of it is truly the first step to mastering it. This isn't about some personal failing. This is about how the human brain is wired. And once we can externalize the problem, we can get rid of any sense of shame and start working on the real solution. For decades, your life had a kind of default mission, right? Your utility, your usefulness, it was all built in. You were needed by your company, your kids, your community, and this created a constant sense of purpose. But retirement, well, it often creates what's called the utility gap. This is the space between the high-impact problem solver you used to be and the quiet, leisurely life that society now kind of expects you to play. Your brain absolutely feels this gap as a profound sense of being underutilized. And the result of that gap, it's a state of what we call narrative exhaustion. I want you to think of your mind as this high-performance engine, one that's been refined over decades of challenges and learning. It's designed for complex, difficult terrain, but now it's being asked to just idle in the driveway. This biological friction, having all this incredible capacity with no meaningful place to apply it, is just plain exhausting. Your mind is built for emotional depth, but it's being stuck in this small, leisure-only box. So that internal friction you feel, that quiet sense of crisis, it's not a sign that you are failing at retirement. Far from it. It is the beginning of the most important developmental task of your later years. It's a call to evolve, to consciously and intentionally build the next chapter of your life story. And this brings us to a really pivotal turning point. See, the solution isn't just about finding more hobbies to fill the time. It's about embracing a whole new identity, making a conscious shift from one state of being to another. This right here is the fundamental shift we need to make. On one side, you have the conventional view, passive consumption. Retirement is the end, it's about filling the hours. But on the other side is the new mission, intentional contribution. This means seeing this phase of life as an evolution and actively asking, where is my wisdom needed? It means stepping into the powerful role of a strategic elder. And this isn't just some change in mindset, it's a neurological imperative. Your brain actually requires what we call generative meaning, that sense that you're contributing to something that will outlast you in order to stay healthy. So let's reframe that haunting question we started with. Why am I here? It's not some dark omen. It's a system prompt. It's your brain's way of telling you that the old operating software has run its course, and it's asking you to install the next version. I mean, how empowering is that? This shift in perspective just completely removes the shame and allows you to reclaim control over your own purpose. Which, of course, leads us to the essential practical question. We've talked about the what and the why, but how do you actually do this? How do you become the protagonist in your own story again, instead of feeling like a background character in someone else's? Well, the answer lies in a concrete, actionable framework. It's called the Generative Anchor Protocol. I want you to think of this not as a set of simple activities, but as empowering psychological tools that are designed to re-engage your brain and provide the very structure it's craving. The protocol has 4 key steps. First, we'll perform a purpose audit. Second, we'll use legacy mapping. Third, we'll follow the novelty challenge rule. And fourth, we'll establish a temporal anchor. Let's break each one down. Okay, first up, the purpose audit. This is all about finding a new place for your utility. Look at your community, your family, your network, and just identify one area where your hard-won wisdom is being underutilized. Then find a low-stakes way to intervene. Maybe mentor a young person in your old field or volunteer for a local committee. The absolute key here is to join a group where your presence becomes structurally necessary. This immediately breaks that redundancy loop and starts reactivating your brain's reward centers. Second, legacy mapping. This step is about honoring and passing on your crystallized intelligence. Take some time to actually write down the non-material lessons of your life. I'm not talking about the stories, but the wisdom behind the stories. Lessons about resilience, integrity, love, how to navigate failure. Then choose one person, a grandchild, a niece, a younger colleague, and find a time to share it with them. And please, frame it as a gift, not a lecture. This act of intentional transmission gives such profound meaning to everything you've experienced. Next, we've got 2 steps that act as behavioral barriers against stagnation. The third is the novelty challenge rule. Engage in one new activity where you're a total beginner. Learn an instrument, a language, take up pottery, anything. Being a novice again literally forces your brain to build new neural pathways, and it breaks the cycle of boredom. The 4th step is to establish a temporal anchor. Set a specific, concrete goal that's about 6 months away. A trip, a project, a fitness milestone. Having this future anchor prevents the brain from slipping into that idling state that can trigger that existential dread. Now, as you're considering these steps, it is so vital that you understand the context of your own life. You are not starting from scratch here. You are engaging in this work from a position of incredible strength. I want you to just let this sink in. You are a master of survival. I mean, think about it. You have navigated decades of technological, cultural, and global shifts. You have weathered economic storms, personal losses, and profound changes. You have a deep instinctual knowledge of how to adapt and endure. This current challenge? It's no different. You already have the tools because your entire life has been the training ground. And that quiet question we started with, the one that felt like a secret shame, it's time to see it for what it really is, a sign of your higher intelligence. It is a mark of wisdom and depth of soul. A shallow person, someone with no vast internal landscape, never stops to ask why they're here. Only those with a deep well of experience feel the weight of an unassigned purpose. It is a sign of your greatness. So please, be patient with yourself. This feeling of disorientation is temporary. It's simply the white space on the page between the end of one incredible book and the beginning of a brand new sequel. You finished a great work, and now you have the amazing privilege of deciding what the next volume is even going to be about. Okay, let's bring all of this together. We've understood the science, we've reframed the identity, and we've laid out the practical tools. Now it's time to begin. This isn't about filling a void. It's about launching your second act. This journey doesn't begin with some grand 5-year plan. It begins with a single step. So here is a gentle challenge for you for the next 24 hours. Don't try to solve your entire existential state. Just ask yourself this one simple question. What is my one way to be useful to someone else today? Not because you have to, because you choose to. An act of utility, no matter how small, is the most powerful antidote to feelings of redundancy. So, what's the most crucial takeaway from all of this? First, please remember that asking why am I here is not a sign of an end. It's a powerful signal that your highly evolved brain is ready for a bigger, more meaningful mission. Second, if you're wondering where on earth to start, go back to that idea of legacy mapping. It's such a direct and beautiful way to begin turning your lived experience into a tangible gift for someone else. And finally, hold on to the incredible power of the strategic elder identity. It's a recognition of your mastery, your wisdom, and your sovereign right to define your own purpose. Define the mission, calm the mind, and lead your life with the purpose you absolutely deserve.